So for this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through how you could create this. So what this is a third person character, but I've added in 3 buttons. And what they allow you to do is they allow you to jump to different cameras. So we're just moving out to different cameras as we're going along, or you can move back to the pawn and move around like that. So this is just showing you how to have a widget that allows you to jump to other cameras. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a widget to be placed on the screen. And I'm going to do that by right-hand clicking, coming down to User Interfaces and selecting Widget Blueprint. And I'll select User Blueprint. And I'm going to call this Hard Camera Swap. And double click, open that up. And the first thing I'm going to do is search for a canvas panel and place that in. This allows me to anchor things to the different sections of the screen. It's really useful for making a HUD. Now, all I want is 3 buttons. So I'm going to search for a button. And I'm going to start off by placing 1 button into the world. Now, I am going to change the anchor so that it is anchored into the middle at the bottom, like this. And then I'm going to expand this out a bit and add some text to it. I'm going to drag the text in. And we're going to swap between the pawn and 2 cameras that we place into the world. So I'm going to change this text to say pawn. And I'm going to change the color of the text to be black. I'm also going to change the button. I'm going to call this button pawn. Right, now I will duplicate this. I'm going to move this a little bit over to the right and this into the center, close enough. And I'm going to change this text to camera 1. And I'm going to change the name of the button to button camera _1. Right, then I will duplicate this button again, and I'm going to move that to the right. Yeah, it's just quick and dirty. So that was 1, and this is going to be _2. Okay, and I will change the camera to 2. Okay, so I have 3 buttons. I'm going to compile, save. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to select the button, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then on-clicked push plus. And I'll do the same, on-click push plus, and the same. So what I'm doing is I'm creating an event for when each one of these buttons is pushed. Okay, and on the button pawn, I'm going to drag off, and I'm just going to do a print string. That's just so we can confirm it's working. Now, in order to get this to work, I am going to need to create the widget, add it to the screen. And I'm going to do that, in this case, in the pawn. So I go over to World Settings, look for Default Pawn Class, Third Person Character, and I'm going to find that, double click and open it up. Now, I want to spawn it and I want to do it on begin play. So after the add mapping context here, I'm going to drag off and I am going to create a widget. So search for create widget. And I'm going to search for the class I've just created. So that's HUD Camera Swap. HUD Camera Swap. There you go. Now I have to actually put this on the screen because it only creates it in memory. So I'm going to drag off and I am going to type in add to viewport. That's going to add it to the viewport. Now there's one more thing I want to do, and that is I want to show the mouse, because by default we're not going to see a mouse in the third person character. So to do that, I have to get the player controller and I have to set show mouse cursor. And so I'm going to tick that on. So all I'm doing here is I'm creating the widget, adding it to the viewport, and I'm showing the mouse cursor. Now, if I save and compile and I run, you should see that we have the buttons here. And if I push that, we get the hello. So we know that it's working, and we can also see the mouse. I can also run around. So that's working. Now, the next thing I've done, and I'll delete these just so I can go through the whole process with you, is I need to add some cameras in for us to swap to. So under the plus, I'm going to search for camera. We don't really want the cinematic camera. The camera actor is best for when we're working with games. So I'm going to create one of those, and I'm going to drag that, and I'm going to drag it up and rotate it so that it's facing directly down there. Okay, so that's our first camera. I'm going to drag out a second camera here, and I'll pilot this one. So I'll right hand click, pilot the camera. And I know my character's starting here, so I'm going to face the camera there. Right, then I will just eject. So I've got two cameras, one like this. Now I have to find these cameras. And in order to do this, I'm going to use tags. So under the camera details, I'll search for tags, and I'm going to add an extra tag in, and I'm going to call this camera 1. Then in the second camera here, I'm going to add a tag as well. I'm going to call this camera 2. Okay, so we've got two cameras, one above and one from the side. And we've also got the camera which is on the pawn, so we need to go back to that. So let's write the script to do that. So I'm going to jump back into my HUD, delete my print string, and I'll start off with camera 1. I'm going to drag off, and I'm going to do a get all actors of class with tags. Now, I'm going to search for camera actor here. And the tag I want is camera 1. And from the out, I'm going to do a for loop, for each loop. This is nice because it just kind of functions as a validate at the same time. So it looks for the camera. If it finds it, I am then going to get the player controller. Oh, player controller. Yeah, player controller. And drag off. And from this, I am going to do a blend. So it's a set view target with blend. Drag up, plug in. And I'm going to plug that in like that. Now, we should be able to test this. So if I press play, you'll see that jumps to the camera above. Now, we can actually slow this down. You see we've got the blend time. I'm going to change that to 1 second. And come on, and that's going to give us it's just going to give us a sort of nicer blend in this case. So you can see that the camera is moving up there. Okay, so that's camera 1 done. I could just copy this whole bit, drag it down, and swap this to camera 2. And so that should give us the functionality for camera 2. Finally, we're going to want to be able to go back to the pawn. So if I do get player pawn, and I can use exactly the same set view target here. Oops. There you go. And just plug the player pawn into the set view target. Compile and save. And hey presto, we should be done. I can move up to camera 1, across to camera 2, play pawn, and at all times the character is playable. Okay, hope you found that useful. Bye.